the daf. I think tomorrow. I think it'd be easier for the oilam if we do it like 7:25. No, wouldn't that be easier?
Sounds good to me.
I'm assuming so.
I wanted to thank you.
Okay, so Lando hasn't been on in a while.
I know. Later has my vote
Okay,
if the
so,
out-of-towners matter.
Yeah, me too. I made a half a mirav. I hear. I don't know. I think it's just going to be a little easier, at least for the next couple of weeks, till this man and get earlier. Okay, we'll see. Fine. Okay, so now we're on the bottom. We got to the bottom of. What did we get up to? Yeah, on the bottom of Kuf Yud Aleph Amud Beis. Yeah, so today's daf is a whole lot easier than yesterday's daf. So Yevamos Shomer B'Soy Shloshim Yom. So we said that if you have this case where the Yevama, where the Gemara is going to say exactly what the pshat is, but the case is that the Yevama said that she needs to get chalitza. She needs to get chalitza from the guy, and the guy said, "No, I did Yibam already. I just want to divorce her, and that's it." So that's basically what comes out to this Machlokes. So we said within 30 days. So then we forced him that he has to do chalitza. If it's within 30 days from when they started living with each other, we force him to do chalitza. If it's after 30 days, we ask him to do chalitza. All right? Fine. So now what's a pshat in all this? So 5 lines up from the bottom. Who's the Tana that says that a person that he's living with for 30 days, but more than 30 days, he's going to give up? All right, so who is that? Who's the Shita that says that? Some Rav Yochanan, Rav Meir, it's Rav Meir, the Tanya, Tainas Pesulim, Kol Shloshim Yoim, right? So as we know, and we're going to learn in Kesubas, Bez Hashem, right, that the Tainas Pesulim, which is basically when a man gets married and then he sleeps with his wife and he says that there's no Pesulim there, so then he's tining that she was Mizana. Right? So he has 30 days, up until 30 days after he's married, to tina this. Because more than 30 days, we're going to already assume that he's just trying to get out of the marriage easily. Yeah? So we're saying that that our Mishnah is Rameir. So if she was the Seiser with him, then it's right away. Yeah, meaning if he tainas, if they had yichud together, then it's immediate. Loy nistera, but if they were not, they didn't then it's even after many years. Then he could tie it down psulim after 30 years. Yeah. So Rabba Amar. So we're saying it's clearly that our Mishnah is going to Meir because it's differentiates between 30 days and not. Rav Yossi doesn't. Rabba Amar Afilu Tema Rav Yossi. Rabba says it could even be Rav Yossi. Arkan like how Rav Yossi Hasam Ela Baru Sasai. It's only talking about with a girl he's engaged to the Gispa because he is used to her, right? Meaning when a guy's engaged, so we're assuming that within 30 days of marriage he's gonna sleep with her. He's gonna have relations with her. Right, because he's used to her. He has some sort of relationship with her. Ashes achiv, but Ashes achiv meaning yibum on Tamar Aleph now. Mivzas buzzes bina. He's embarrassed. He's embarrassed from her. Right, all of a sudden he has to go marry his sister-in-law. Could very well be. There's a lot of history over there. Right, based on the end of the Mishnah, the sister-in-law really didn't like him. Am I frozen? Did I just freeze?
You're back.
Yeah, hello? I didn't freeze?
For a split second.
You're good.
Okay, I'm good now?
Yep, both of them.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, so he was embarrassed from her. So it could take him 30 days to potentially get comfortable enough with his sister-in-law in order to do Yibum. So Gemara asked, right? So the Gemara is saying, maybe instead of making him do chalitza, why don't we force him to do Yibum? right? Meaning, so she's tining. He didn't do yibum yet. Okay, so let him do yibum. So Amarav v'shekita yoytzem metachas yada. No, it's talking about where she already has a get. So it's not just where they're having a disagreement whether the yibum was done to him or not. Somewhere where he gave her a get, or she at least has a get in her hand, and she's saying that that the yavam was never with her, right? So now the question is, if this guy's already agreeing that he's getting rid of her, so what does he care whether it's chalitza? Let him do chalitza, right? Why can't he just do chalitza? Meaning, what comes out here is that the guy gave her a get. He claims that he has to divorce her, and she claims he has to do chalitza, right? So meaning, what's in it for him that it's only a get and not chalitza? So you could have a few. You could have a. Yeah, now I'm not remembering. What would be the nafkamina? I don't remember now. I thought it was pretty obvious. Okay, I don't remember now. Hareshas? No, it was something more basic than that. There was really a basic thing than that. Why would he want it to be? I don't know. It's slipping my mind. If it pops back in, then I'll say. Yeah, fine. Meisvei. So they asked the kasha 3 lines down from the top. Yeah. Yevama sha'amra b'say shleishim yoyim le'nevalti. So Yevama that said within 30 days le'nevalti. Right, meaning he wasn't together with her. Bein shu'aymer be'alti, bein shu'aymer le'balti. Whether he says I did sleep with her, or whether he says I didn't sleep with her. Koifen oisa sheyach litza. We force him to do chalitza. After 30 days, we ask him to do chalitza. He omeres devalti, but if she says devalti, right? For who omer loy devalti, and he says I didn't, hareza yoytzi beget, then he has to give her a get, right? Meaning, what now? Well, this is the opposite of what we just said in our Mishna. Well, it's not the opposite, but it's a different scenario where she's the one saying that he was together with me, and he's saying not. And she gets the benefit of the doubt that within 30 days, he must have been violent. If he says he did and she says no, even though he goes and says he did, he wasn't, Tzara get the chalitza, then you're going to need both. Right? So now why do you need to do both? Why can't you just do one? So Ravami tzricha chalitza im gita. No, it means that you need the chalitza with the get that's together with her, meaning she already has the get. Now she needs chalitza on top of that just to make sure we cross the T's and dot the I's to make sure everybody that she's totally cut off from the guy properly. But Ashi says no. Hasam get lezekasai. Why does she need a get? She needs a get for the Zika, right? Because Lamaisa, there was a Zika there that didn't go away if he wasn't a yavam, right? So therefore, she needs a get for the Zika and Hacha get lebiyasai. But there, meaning in that case in the Brisa, that's where you need to just get rid of the Zika. But here we're talking about a get lebiyasai. So that's why she has to we have to give her the get, because it's not going to, meaning you have to do the get and then you have to do the chalitza, because it's not going to get rid of the yibum. Fine. Okay. So hanu shneim moedim, right? So there was a yavam and a yavama who were moedim that they never had yibum, meaning they never slept together. So also look, I made the Rava, and they came in front of Rava. Amr lahu Rava. So Rava said to them, chalutzula, do chalitza, v'sharula tigra, and then we'll be finished with we'll allow the tigra. Tigra meaning we'll allow the tigra's court case. We're just gonna release the court case. Amr le Rav Sharvi le Rava vatanya tzricha get v'chalitza. We said she needs a get and chalitza, meaning if they live together But here it is that they both admit that there was no bia, right? Now the reason why, and so meaning we have to be choshed that there was. It's a little bit more difficult to understand this case because she's saying that she didn't, right? So I'm saying, what's the chashash? So it must be that we don't believe her. Why shouldn't we believe her? Okay, but whatever it is, he's saying, but we learned that you need to get in chalitza. I'm like, Tanya. If we learned it, then we learned it. So then he takes back his psak. And he took back his psak to only do chalitza, and he said you got to do chalitza and yivam. That's here the kasha tzara. What about the tzara? Right, meaning you have your standard case, right, where a yavam had two wives, and now one of them she claims he never did yivam with her. He married her, whatever. He took her into the house, but he never did yivam with her. So now is her co-wife, the Tzara, going free now or not? Right? Meaning right now, till now, we're saying we have to be choshed. We don't know if there was yibum here, there was no yibum here. Right? So what about the Tzara? Can the Tzara get married, or does she have to be concerned that her co-wife never had yibum, and so mamela she's not allowed to get married to anybody? So just because we're going to force or we're going to ask the husband to do chalitza, does that mean the Tzara should be asur? Right? The Tzara doesn't have to be. There's nothing to do with the Tzara. This whole issue started because this lady opened up her mouth and said he never did yibum to me. As far as the rest of the world is concerned, yibum was done. Right? He married this woman, took her into the house. Right? On the surface of it, I mean, it's a shver. You see that long taisus there? Yeah. So this whole sugi is a little bit shver, but it seems like meaning shver to understand, not shver because I have any kashas on it. Meaning, I don't want you to think I understand the sugi so well enough that it's a shver sugi. I know it's shver because it's shver to understand, right? But basically, for the Tzara, what does she know? What does she know? And her assumption is this lady went and moved in with the brother-in-law, and there was yibum there. That's fine. Why does this have to affect her? It only affects the wife because the wife said that the guy did not sleep with me. Okay, so he didn't sleep with you, so we have to figure something out to make sure that you're properly released. Yeah, fine. Okay, so then the last case in the Mishna is nederas hana. We had said that she decided she doesn't like her brother-in-law, so she made a neder. She's not going to be benefiting from him. Yeah, so Tanan Hasam, they learn over in the Mishnah. Right, and this is for those that have a hard time understanding the Zera D'Rabbanans, then this Gemara is for you. Yeah, so Barishayna, in the beginning they would say Shalosh Nashim Yotzes V'Noit plus Kesuba. 3 women can get divorced, right? Meaning not only have to get divorced, they have to get divorced. They're required to get divorced, and they get the kesuba. Now, normally when a woman has to get divorced, she's not getting her kesuba money, right? Let's say a woman's mezana, so she has to get divorced. She doesn't have a choice in the matter, but she loses her kesuba money because she didn't behave. But here we're talking about 3 women that have to get divorced, but they get to keep their kesuba. What is it? First one is hayameres tamei anilach. This is talking about the way Rashi says it's talking about a kohen's wife who was raped because it wasn't voluntary. Because it was voluntary, she would not get her kesuba. So it has to be she's married to a kohen. But the din by a kohen is that if a kohen's wife is raped, he can no longer stay married to her. So she said it was based on her testimony, right? That she says that she's tamei, so therefore she is believed, and she still gets her kesuba because it was against her will. Right? We'll get back to this. Then the second one is, what do you say?
That only apply to a kohen?
Only to a kohen. If a regular Yisrael or a Levi Avrami, right? If you're not so holy, I'm sorry. But if they're raped, then they can stay married. Right? So that's the first one where she says it. Then the other one is Hashemayim beini libeincha. Hashem is between me and you, which we have an interesting Machlokes Rashi Taisus as to what this means. Rashi says Hashemayim it is between me and you, meaning you don't sleep with me. She has tainas on the husband. He doesn't sleep with her. So, and she says, who's going to know? Hashem is going to know. The Shemayim is going to know. So therefore she says she wants to get divorced because he doesn't sleep with her. Right? So she's believed and she gets her kesuba. And then the third one is Natula Ani Mina Yehudim, means I am taken away from Yidden, which is basically she's making a neder that she's not gonna sleep with any males anymore. I'm sorry, I didn't say what Taisa she does. Taisa she was is that he's sleeping with her, he just can't have kids. Right? That's Shita's Taisus. So okay, whatever it is, and so then the third one is Natula Ani Mina Yehudim. She makes a neder she's not gonna sleep with Yidden. That's initially what they said in all these cases. She can keep she can keep the kesuba money. Yeah, chazru loimer, but then they changed their mind and they said, the problem was that women started putting their eyes onto other men, and the only way they can get out of the marriage, right? Because marriage is in the hands of the man, according to Judaism. Right? According to Yiddishkeit, the man could force a woman to get divorced. Right? A woman cannot force a man to get divorced. She has no say in the matter. Right? So, since there's no way for her out of this, the only way out is to make herself asr min hadin to the husband, then she can get divorced. And then they let her get her kesuba too. When they realized that women were doing this because they wanted to go marry other men, so they said, okay, this is a no-go. So they said, well, if you do this, you're not going to get your kesuba. And that would maybe keep them married, even though they had their eyes on another man. Right? So the Rabbanon changed it. Right? If she says, I was talking to you, Tavi Raya L'Davra, she has to bring a Raya. We tell her, bring a Raya. We don't believe you that you were raped. If she's Aisha's coming, we don't believe you. Hashemayim Beini Lebeincha, the Shemayim is between me and you, Yasu Derech Bakasha. So we tell her to do it with Derech Bakasha. According to Rashi, it's very interesting because Rashi makes sense. Rashi says, okay, tell her to tell her husband he should be nice to her and sleep with her. But according to Taisus, what does that mean? Taisus says it's not his fault. Taisus says he just can't have kids. So Taisus says two things. One should come as something very familiar. Taisus says the first he says Daven to Hashem, stay married and daven that you should have kids. And the second shot is make a suda to him and be mafayas him. So you see that the way to a man's heart is with a suda. So that's where we get our kedushin from. I don't know how that's going to make him make a suda. I don't know how making a suda is going to make him be able to have kids. That part is a little shver. What are you saying?
If he can't have kids, she can force the get.
After 10 years, that was the sugya way back a couple of months ago.
Right, so I'm saying.
Maybe
right?
it's a month ago.
So she can force the get, no?
She can't. She cannot force the get because she doesn't have the mitzvah pruruvu. Right? The meikar adin, he could, but she really can't. But
we had that also.
Until he says you force him.
Correct, but isn't that's how she could force him, right? Isn't that she has the right connection? She
That's Bezdin.
No.
If he does something wrong,
Bezdin forces a guy to give a get. Yeah,
and not
so
in
we force him.
In a different case.
Yeah. This case is coming from the woman's angle.
Where
she's claiming she did something wrong.
She can't go to Bezdin to force him.
No, not unless there's a compelling reason. But either way, we don't do any of this. We don't do that anymore nowadays either way. Right?
How do you understand Rabbeinu Chananel, the Suda business?
It makes sense according to Rashi. It doesn't make sense according to Tosfos.
You said that she makes for him? I think Tosfos says that he makes for her a Suda.
Oh, that's what I said. Yeah. Okay, right. He should make for her a suda.
Treat her like a queen.
He should make for suda. So what's that going to help? Oh, you're saying out that?
Yeah.
You mean he should make for her?
He should make for her a suda.
And then but she's good. Yeah, but that's not going to get her to have kids.
No, but at least she'll say that she won't be as upset.
Right. You mean he's standing on here that he said that he's saying, well, at least he'll be Mephias, so she'll stay, even though she can't have kids.
Right.
That's so you see women like Sudas.
I don't think it means just the Suda. I think that's the start.
Okay. I hear, but that wasn't the issue though. According to Raj,
But if he starts treating her like a queen,
that
there's
makes
other
sense. He's
problems
not
also.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, the third shot is Natula ani min Yehudim. I'm taken from Yehudim. Yafer chelkoi, right? So what he should do is be made for the neder for his chelik, because a husband is allowed to be mater neder from a wife's nedarim that pertain to him, right? Umisham shasai, and then she can be mishamashim. They could have relations. But she's still taka gonna have the neder from the other yid, right? So that's the way around all three.
How does this work
Right.
according to Rashi?
What do you mean?
The problem is tashmish for her. She has a
But for a
problem with
husband, it's not a
tashmish.
problem.
With
What do you mean?
the whole point of her neder was, according to Rashi,
Because she was in pain.
yeah.
Okay, but you
Now he
that's
should be
right.
matir
I
and
don't think
cause
you
her
said it
pain.
over. Right? The reason why she's making this nether is because she's in pain from intercourse. She's having painful intercourse, right? So therefore, she didn't want to have intercourse with anybody. So that's why she makes the nether. It's not going to help. What should I tell you? It's not going to help. It's not going to help that part.
We're telling him to cause her pain. That's what we're telling him?
I don't know. Weiß nicht. Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, there's a doctor whose expertise is pain for intercourse, and he's so busy you can't get appointments with him for months and months, and he charges $1,800 for initial consultation, no insurance. Okay. Yeah, that's how common it is. This guy is busy, mamish. Yeah, you have no idea. But anyway, yeah. Now another thing to come out, which stam in the practical, which is unfortunate from the sugya, is a lot of times when a woman tells her husband she was mizana. Now, do they have to get divorced or not? So what some rabbanim say to do is, who says the husband has to believe the wife, right? From here, from this sugya, it's mashal. In the beginning, we believed her, and then the Chachamim changed their mind. They said, "We're not believing her. You don't believe her. You have to prove it. You have to prove it, right?" So okay, but that's what they try and do. You try and convince the people not to believe her. If there's Adim and this and that, then you don't have that luxury. Fine. Let's go back to Yehudim. Right? She says that I'm being taken, the literal translation is I'm being taken from all Yidden, meaning she made a neder because she was in pain from intercourse. She says, I'm not doing the intercourse thing anymore. Right? But what about the yavam, Mahu? Did she also have in mind the
what
yavam?
right does she have to do that? He has an obligation to live with her, so she could say, I'm not doing it. That's grounds for divorce.
Correct. That's a meredis, but that isn't. What? What do you want to say, Gershon?
I don't think this is the classic case of Meredith. We believe her. It causes her pain. He doesn't want to cause her pain either.
Let's say she doesn't want to live with him, and she says, it's causing me pain.
She said she doesn't want to have intercourse anymore. That's it. She's done with intercourse.
That's what changed after Barashayna. Barashayna, we believed her. She's in pain. That's not Meredith.
I'm going to take it off the speaker. Hold on. Can you hear? Yeah? You can hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
But so she's in pain. So l'chayra, she's not mechuyev. I think she's not mechuyev to be in pain in order to be there for her husband. L'chayra. Right, but anyways, what about for the yavam?
The mitzvah is a mitzvah aina. The mitzvah aina is for her. If it doesn't do, if it causes her pain, there's no mitzvah vaina.
But a woman has a shibud. She does have a shiva to the Baal.
Yeah, but now if it's usher for him to cause her pain, there's no what shibud is there.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, so let's see. It's too late to. That's the problem with starting this late. It's too late to handle, and the problem with doing the daf 7:30, which for those of us that like to extend the daf, it's an end time, so maybe that's good. Okay, whatever. But anyways, so the yavam. What about to the yavam?
We could extend it after Mincha Ma'ariv. Any discussions?
Yeah, maybe. Then everybody loses interest after that. So the yavam. What about to the yavam? So me. Maska daita the mayas bail of enough to come a yavam. Are we when she made this neder, did she have in mind, my husband could die without kids, and then I have to yavam ain't a kibal. So Machlokes Rav and Shmuel. Rav says the yavam is not like a bal and it doesn't work. She will not be able to she will not be able to be with him. But Shmuel yavam hareo kibal. He's like the Baal. I'm sorry, I said the opposite. Rav, according to Rav, he's not like the Baal, and therefore she'll be mutter. Yeah, and Shmuel will say it is like the Baal, it's going to be also. So I'm going to I would say the Rav Mustaver, like Rav is more Mustaver. The Tanan nederas Yomi Yevamos, b'chaye bala, koifin oisar. This is our Mishna. If she makes the neder of Hana from her Yavama while her husband's alive, we force him to do chalitza. And if you think that she was really thinking that, oh, you know what, maybe my husband's going to die and then I have to deal with my Yavam, yeah, then it should change to we ask him to, we don't force him to. So our answer is, we're talking about a woman that has kids. The kulei high like maska daita. It's talking about where a woman who has kids. And then she makes the neder. So it's not going to dawn on her that how is she going to ever be eligible for yibum? So she can be if all the kids die and then the husband dies, then she'll be eligible for yibum. Am I frozen or not?
You're choppy.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
You're good now.
Sorry. Okay. I hope I'll have the Wi-Fi passwords by tomorrow. Anyway, so because she has kids and she's not gonna think like, well, I'm gonna lose all my kids and then my husband. That's not in her das. So the Gemara says, I will ain love on him, right? But if she doesn't have kids, so what are you going to say? Mavakshin, that we ask him. If we learn that if he had kavanah to this, even in the life of the Baal, we ask him to do chalitza. So why don't you just separate, say two dinim in this case, and say that's what she has kids. But if she doesn't have kids, then we're going to ask him to do the chalitza. Makes no difference whether she has kids or she doesn't have kids. We're going to force him, and that sounds like Rav. So Shema Mino, that we hear that the Rav is correct, which is Masha from our Mishna. Okay. Hanrulach Beishamay, L'chaim to all those that drink L'chaim. I don't have any drinks with me. Back to frozen.
Well, you're back. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, good. Because I think you could hear me, but I think the faces freeze. Okay, new Perek. Yeah.
Perek.
So a lot of this should be familiar.
But Yaakov, that's just not us not understanding you during Yevamos. It's not the silence is not because you're frozen.
No, I'm not looking at the silence for that. I don't want to sound like Stroil here, Akiva, but for those faces that are on, they freeze up. So I say, okay, I lost them. Right?
Sounds like Israel.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry about that. Yeah. Anyways, okay. So
Kiva doesn't show his face.
What?
That's why Kiva doesn't show his face.
He's too handsome. He's too handsome to show his face. He's way too handsome to show his face. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so the new Perek now talks about, right. So the Mishna says, if you have a deaf man who married a regular woman, who pikeach and shenasa chareshes, or a regular guy who married a deaf woman, if he wants to divorce her, he can. And if he wants to stay married to her, he could stay married to her. So the same way he can marry her with biramiza because if she's deaf, right? So he has to use some sort of hand signals. He could also divorce her with ramiza, right? So basically, a marriage of a deaf person to a regular person or a regular person to a deaf person can work. If you have a pikeach who married a pikachas, regular healthy, and then she became deaf, if he wants, he could divorce her, right? And if he wants, he give him a kaimer. But if she becomes a shaita, then then he can't divorce her at all. Right? If he became a cherish, or I said nishtata, if he became a cherish, or he became stupid, he lost his mind. He does not marry her. He cannot divorce her forever. Right? Again, if he becomes deaf, or she becomes a shaita, then he cannot divorce her forever. Right? Now, why? Yeah, because when they were both healthy, it was a regular deraisa marriage. Right now, it's only a derabanan marriage. Right? So how can it? But he can't give a get because he's a shaita or he's deaf. So mamela, it's not going to work. How come a woman who becomes deaf, the husband can divorce her, and a man the man becomes deaf, he's not allowed to divorce his wife. So they told him, you can't compare a man divorcing to a woman getting divorced. A woman, you can divorce her against her will or with her will, meaning a woman could be forced to be divorced, which we don't do that anymore either. But that's the ikar din is that you can, right? Lost the place. Right. Again, and a man is not you cannot force a man unless he wants to. So therefore, it's easier to divorce a woman than to get a man to be the divorce, to give the one to initiate the divorce. So hey, Rabbi Yochanan ben Gudgel al charesha shesiya avia she yotze beget. Rabbi Yochanan ben Gudgel said eidos on a woman who was deaf, whose father married her off, right? Because the father has a right to marry off a daughter. She yotze beget because she could go with the get. So amrulai afzu ki yotze ba. She's saying that's the same exact. It's the same exact din, right? Meaning, when she gets married off by her father, she is married midaraisa, right? So too, that the wife, when she got married with daraisa, even though later she became a shaita. I'm sorry, not a shaita. She became both, right? Shaita or stupid. Right, she lost her mind. Either one, she can accept the get because we give her the get against her will. Right. So now the Gemara goes through all these cases that we had 2 blot ago, of 2 brothers marrying 2 sisters, or whatever, multiple marriages that need yibum, and one of them is deaf, and one of them is a shait or whatever it is. So let's see. Beis Achin Charashim. You have 2 brothers who are deaf. Nisuin the Beis Achayis Charashis married to 2 sisters who are deaf. Right, so everybody's deaf. Or 2 sisters who are regular. Or to 2 sisters. One is deaf and one is good. Or 2 sisters who are deaf that are married to 2 brothers who are not. Or to 2 brothers who are deaf, or to 2 brothers, one is good, one is deaf, and one is not. They're both potter from chalitza and yibum, right? So vim hayu nachriyos, but if they're not sisters and they're two different wives, meaning they're two different wives, obviously, but two different families, so yichnaisu, then he could marry them. Vim ratzu lahaitzu yotz, and then if he wants to divorce them, then he's allowed to divorce them, right? Yeah, because basically the chiddush is that even though it's a d'Rabbanan, that the d'Rabbanan, we're still going to allow the get to work, and then she can go marry anybody else. Fine, that's the simple case. You have two brothers. One is deaf and one is good. The Suan l'shtei is married to two sisters pikchas, and married to two sisters who are regular. Meis cheresh bal hapikachas. If the deaf one, who was the husband of the wife who could hear, ma yasa pikeach bal hapikachas. So what is the pikeach, who is the husband of the pikachas, supposed to do? So there's nothing to do because it's achos isha. It's a standard regular marriage midaraisa. So he's potter. Meis pikeach bala pikachas. But where it gets complicated is if the one who died was the smart one. Not, I mean, again, the pikeach means literally translated as smart, but it means the one that could hear, who was married to one that could hear. So ma yasa cheresh bal pikachas. What is he supposed to do? Now this guy's a cheresh who's married to a pikachas, whose marriage is only d'Rabbanan. So basically what has to happen here is he's now allowed to be with his wife, right? So he has to divorce his wife. He has to divorce his wife with a get because he has a deraisa Zika, because his brother had a legitimate marriage, because his brother was not deaf and his sister-in-law was not deaf. So he has to, he can't be together with his wife because it's achai sikukase. Right, but he can't marry the sister-in-law either, right? Because since he's deaf, he can't do chalitza. So somebody's deaf and can't do chalitza. So what's he supposed to do? Nothing. So basically, this wife is stuck for the rest of her life, and she can never get married, right? Fine. Then you have two brothers who could hear, who married to two sisters, achas chareshes v'achas pikachas, one deaf and one not. Meis pikeach bal chareshes. If the husband who was married to the bal chareshes, ma yas pikeach bal pikachas. What does the pikeach do? Who's married to the pikachas, the ones that could hear? Teitzim mishum achos. So he's potter because of achos. Meis pikeach bal pikachas. But what happens if the regular normal marriage died? Ma yasa pikeach bal chareshes. What is the pikeach bal chareshes, the husband of the one who's deaf, supposed to do? Maitzias ishtay beget. So he divorces his wife with a get. That's eishes achav chalitza, and he could do chalitza to his sister-in-law, right? But you can't do yibum because it's only a d'Rabbanan marriage. Fine. Next case: Shnei achin, two brothers. Echad cheresh v'echad pikeach. One was a cheresh and one was a pikeach. And the opposite case of before, married to two sisters, achas chereshes, achas pikachas, one deaf and one could hear. Meis cheresh bal chereshes. If the cheresh, the bal chereshes, dies, ma yas pikeach bal pikachas. What is the one, the couple that could hear do? Teitzim mishum achos isha. So they go out because of achos isha. Meis pikeach bal pikachas. If the pikeach, who is married to the pikachas, dies, ma yasa cheresh bal chareshes. So what is the guy that's deaf who's married to the bal chareshes? So so what do you do? So maitzias ishta beget, again, like we said before, he has to divorce his wife because again his wife is eishes kukasoi eishes achav asur la'olam, and his brother's wife is asur forever, right? Because he can't do chalitza to her, so she's stuck. Shnei achim, two brothers. Echad cheresh v'echad pikeach. One is a cheresh, one is pikeach. Nesuin l'shtei nachrias, married to two strange women. Not strange, meaning two women, not sisters. Pikchos that could hear. Meis cheresh bal pikachas, ma yase pikeach, ma yase pikeach bal pikachas. So if the deaf one died, so what is the one who's not deaf supposed to do? He could do either chalitza or yibam. Meis pikeach bal pikachas. And if the one who could hear died, ma yasa cheresh bal pikachas. What is the deaf one who's married to the one that could hear do? Kindness. He has to marry her, and he cannot divorce her ever, right? Because there's no way for him to do that. right? Since he's deaf, there's no way for him to do the divorce. Fine. Last case, second to last case. Shnei achin pikrin nesuin lebeis nachrius. Two brothers who could hear married to two women not related to each other. Achas pikachas v'achas chareshes. One is deaf, one could hear. Meis pikeach bal chareshes. So the pikeach, who's the bal chareshes, ma yatz pikeach bal pikachas. What could the pikeach bal pikachas say? Kindness. He marries her. Vim ratzah lo'itzi yotzin. If he wants to divorce, he could divorce her. Meis pikeach bal pikachas. But if the guy who could hear divorced died, who could hear died, ma yaseh pikeach bal chareshes. Chareshes. What does he do? He could do chalitza or yavam. Fine. Last case. Shnei achin, two brothers. Echad cheresh v'echad pikeach. One is deaf and one is not deaf. Nisuin lebeis nachrius achas chareshes v'achas pikachas. Meis cheresh bal chareshes. So the one who's deaf married to the one who's deaf. Ma yaseh. What does he do? Ma yaseh pikeach bal pikachas. What does the other couple do? What does the other husband do who could hear? Kindness. He can marry. Vim ratzah lo'itzi yotzi. Meis pikeach bal pikachas. But if the one that could hear dies, ma yaseh cheresh bal chareshes. What can the cheresh, who's the bal chareshes, do? Kindness, again, like we said, he can marry her, but he can't divorce her because, again, he's deaf. So he's deaf, he cannot do anything about it. Okay, I hope that was understandable. It's almost like you got an assignment in school to, I'm going to say this 100 times or something. Write it over, all these scenarios. Okay. But the Gemara is not going to be about this too much, so don't get nervous. We already did this Gemara 3 blot ago, so we didn't understand it then.
Right,
so
I knew it sounded familiar
right
to Yaakov.
Yes. It's.
What's the mascot tomorrow?
Tomorrow night, what time?
I think tomorrow. Just give me till the morning, see what's going on. I think tomorrow we'll do 7:25.
Yaakov, was the first night activity you're gonna miss?
I don't participate in night activity.
Oh, good.
Camp started already? Camp started?
That tomorrow.
No, staff is here.
Mhm.
Aaron, did you send potato chips also?
I did, yeah.
Tell him to send some cash also, not with potato chips.
Zevi,
There's a
Zevi,
case
you're
of potato chips.
one-track-minded,
I
Zevi.
didn't see any
One-track-minded.
What do
Aaron,
you
he meant the Darche, not the Yaakov.
I figured as much. Don't worry.
How do you know
My
what I
doorbell.
meant? You guys are
Akiva,
putting
my
words
doorbell's
in my
gonna
mouth.
ring
I'm
momentarily.
down the Kaf's
Yeah, down the cuss. Everybody's down the cuss. You have to be careful for Kaplan. Just be careful for it.
What does that mean?
Aaron doesn't even know what I look like. What do you mean?
All right. Goodbye. I love you all.
That was good to see you last night.
Right.
Yeah, I can't believe you're
Is
back.
Peret's
in
on?
prison.
Is Peret's still on or not?
You can hit Barrett, Yaakov, you gotta hit the recording off.
Where is it?